I'm not the bad guy, I'm just a bit surprising. It's not worth losing sleep, it's not worth analyzing.
What is up, guys? Golden Freddy here, and welcome to the reading of Five Nights at Freddy's Silver Eyes. And I know you guys can't see my webcam. I know you guys can't see my face. There's certain videos I will do with my face cam, and this is not one of them because I have to hold the book in my hand while I read to you guys. Anyways, I think this would be a good series. Send those series in the channel. I just figured. I don't know how long these chapters are. I have to go look. I'm looking. Wait. Okay, so it's kind of like 38 pages. Well, I will do my best. And I'm going to be like those kind of narrative people that have different voices. I think I'm going to try my best to do it, guys. I'm going to try. It's worth trying. Okay. Chapter 1. He sees me. Charlie dropped to her hands and knees. She was wedged behind a row of arcade games, cramped in the crawl space between the consoles and the wall, tangled electrical cords and useless plugs. Strewn beneath her, she was cornered. The only way out was past the thing, and she wasn't fast enough to make it. She could see him stalking back and forth, catching flickers of movements through the gaps between the games. There was scarcely enough room to move, but she tried to crawl backward. Her foot got caught on a cord. She stopped, countering herself to carefully dislodge it. Sorry, guys. I'm not really good reader out loud. I'm trying. I'm doing my best. She heard the clash of metal on metal, and the farthest console rocked back against the wall. He hit it again, shattering the display, then attacked the next, crashing against them almost rhythmically, tearing through the machinery. Coming closer. I have to get out of here. I have to get out. I have to. The panic thought was of no help. There was no way out. Her arm ached, and she wanted to sob aloud. Sob aloud. Blood soaked through the tattered bandage, and it seemed like as though she could feel it draining out of her. The console, a few feet away, crashed against the wall, and Charlie flinched. She was getting closer. She could hear the gritting of gears and the clicking of servers ever louder. Eyes closed. She could still see the way he looked at her, see the matted fur, and the exposed metal beneath synthetic flesh. Suddenly, the console in front of her was wrenched away. It toppled over, thrown down like a toy. The power cords beneath her hands and knees were yanked away. Charlie slipped, almost falling. She caught herself and looked up just in time to see the downward swing of a hook. Wow. I read it many times, but I never finished it. before I continue reading, there's one thing I'm going to tell you guys. There's going to be a delay for the gameplay of Five Nights at Freddy's 3. I have to work. I feel like I'm going to start a new series. And yes, I will continue with Minecraft. I will continue with Minecraft too. And with the Five Nights at Silver book that you guys are looking at right now, because I have the actual copy of the book. So I just figure I have an image of the book. How I'm trying to say is, because most of that stuff happened. Anyways, I'm gonna stop talking about that. Anyways, how come I'm reading this to you guys is because Five Nights at Freddy's the Silver Eyes is connected to Sister Location. Shocking, right? And I was going, why not read the book to you, my fellow 22 followers? I'm hoping to get more. That's another thing. Please tell me about your friends and families. Tell them that I'm a fun YouTuber. Tell them everything what we did. Whatever I did on the channel that interests them. Like Five Nights at Freddy's, the blogs, the gameplays, the 90-day special, other gameplays, and the happy holidays I gave you guys, and what else? The hint, the clues, my first video. If you guys have been with me since the beginning, you can see there was a lot of changes in the channel. Like me, the name, the icon, the artwork, the intro, the outro. I'm working my way up, guys. I'm doing the best I can. Anyways, I'm sorry if I got off topic, but if you guys want me to read the back, let me know, and for the next video I will do, I'm going to read the whole entire book, pages of, let me see here, of 464 pages. And I'll probably do, just for this, because it's not very long, I'm just going to do just one chapter, then take it from there. I'll play it by ear. Anyways, let's get back here. Welcome. Oh wait, one more thing. I am so sorry. But I know I should do a blog, but I have to get app certain right before I can do the intro and the outro, what I've been doing. Let me know in the comments below when I read to you guys, just let me know what you're thinking, like clues, anything that you guys spot that I don't see. Anything that I don't see or you guys know. Just let me know in the comments below. We can figure this out together before Sister Location comes out. And yes, I will be playing Sister Location when it comes out. Anyways, welcome to Hurricane, Utah. Charlie smiled wearily at the sign and kept driving. The world didn't look any different from one side of the sign to the other, but she felt nervous. And on vacation, as she passed it, she didn't recognize anything. Then again, she hadn't really expected to, not this far at the edge of town, where it was all highway and empty space. She wondered what the others would look like, who they were now. 10 years ago, they'd been best friends, and then it happened, and everything ended, at least for Charlie. She hadn't seen any of them since she was 7 years old. They had written all the time as kids, especially Marla, who wrote like she talked fast and incorrect. But as they got older, they had grown apart. The letters had grown fewer and further between, and the conversations leading up to this trip had been perfectionary and full of worked pauses. Charlie repeated their names as though they reassured herself that let's know that. Reassured herself that she still remembered them. Marla, Jessica, Lummer, Carlton, John, and Michelle. Michelle was the reason for this trip. After all, it was 10 years since he died? 10 years since it happened. And now his parents wanted them all together for dedication ceremony. They wanted all his old friends when they announced the scholarship they were creating in his name. Charlie knew it was a good thing to do, but the gathering still felt slightly macabre. She shivered and turned down the air conditioning, even though she knew it was not the cold. As she drove into the town center, Charlie began to recognize things. A few stores and the movie theater, which was now advertising the summer blockbuster hit. She felt a brief moment of surprise, then smiled at herself. What did you expect? That the whole place would be unchanged. A moment to the moment, a moment to the moment of your disappear frozen forever in July 1985. 1985? Huh. Weird. I thought it was 1987. Well, that was exactly what she had expected. She looked at her watch. She still a few hours to kill before they all met up. She thought about going to the movie, but she knew what she really wanted to do. Charlie made a left turn and headed out of town. 10 minutes later, she pulled to a stop and got out. The house loomed up before her. Its dark outline and wound in the bright blue sky. Charlie leaned back against the car, slightly dizzy. She took a moment to steady herself with deep breaths. She had known it would be her here. An elliptic lock through her aunt's bank. Books a few years. Banks, her aunt's bank books. A few years before had told her that the mortgage was paid off and that Aunt Jen was still paying property taxes. It had only been 10 years. There was no reason it should have changed at all. Charlie climbed the steps slowly, taking in the peeling paint. The third stair still had a loose board, and the rose bush had taken over on side of the porch. Their thrones bit hungrily into the wood. Sorry, hold on. Anyway, into the wood. The door was locked, but Charlie still had her key. She had never actually used it, as she took it from around her neck and slid it into the lock. She remembered her father putting its chain around her neck. In case you ever need it, well, she needed it now. The door opened easily, and Charlie looked around. She didn't remember much about the first couple of years here. She had been only 3 years old, and all the memories had faded together in the blur of child's grief and loss. With not understanding why her mother had to go away, clinging to her father every moment, not trusting the world around her unless he was there, unless she was holding tightly to him, burying herself in his flannel shirts and the smell of grease and the hot metal and him. Weird. Okie dokie, that's kind of weird. The stairs stretched straight up in front of her, but she did not move directly to them. Instead, she went into the living room, where all the furniture was still in place. She had not really noticed it as a child, but the house was a little too large for the furniture. They had things were spread out widely in order to fill the space. The coffee table was too far from the couch to reach. The easy chair too far across the room to carry on a conversation. There was a dark stain in the wood floorboards near the center of the room. Charlie stepped around it quickly and went to the kitchen where the cupboards held only a few pots, pans, and dishes. Charlie had never felt a lack of anything as a child. But it seemed now that the unnecessary immortality of the house was a sort of apology. The attempt of a man who had lost so much to give his daughter what he could. He'd always had a way of overdoing whatever he did. The last time she was here, the house had been dark and everything felt wrong. She was carried up the stairs to her bedroom, although she was 7 years old and could have gone quicker on her own 2 feet. But Aunt Jen had stopped on the front porch, picked her up, and carried her sledding, shielding her face as though she were a baby in the glaring sun. In her room, Aunt Jen set Charlie down and closed the bedroom door behind them. She told her to pack her suitcase, and Charlie had cried because all her things could never fit into that small case. Oh, oh, crap. How long after Charlie? Like, she's singing about her past, so this is a 7-year-old voice. So, and she's crying. We could come back for the ride later. Aunt Jen said, her impatient leaking through as Charlie hovered innocently at her. I think I'm not going to make it through, guys. I'll probably stop at page 12. Dresser trying to decide which t-shirts to bring along. They had never come back for the rest. Charlie mounted the stairs, heading to her old bedroom. The door was open, and as she opened it, she had a giddy feeling of displacement, as though her younger self might be sitting there among her toys might look up and ask Charlie, "Who are you?" Charlie went in. Like as the rest of the house, her bedroom was untouched. The walls were pale pink, and the ceiling, which sloped dramatically on one side to follow the line of the roof, and painted to match her old bed, still against the wall beneath the large window. The mattress was still intact, though the sheets were gone. The window was cracked slightly open, and rotting lace curtains waved in the gently breeze from outside. There was a dark water stain in the paint. Beneath the window, where the weather had gotten over the years, bettering the house neglect, Charlie climbed onto the bed and forced the window shut. It avoided the screech, and Charlie stepped back and turned her attention to the rest of the room, to her father's creation. Their first night in the house, Charlie had been afraid to sleep alone. She did not remember the night, but her father had told her about it often enough that the story had taken on the quality of memory. She sat up and wailed until her father came to find her, till he scooped her up and held her and promised her he would make sure she was never alone again. The next morning he took her by the hand and led to her the garage, where he set to work keeping that promise. The first of his inventions was a purple rabbit, now gray with age from years of sitting in the sunlight. Her father had named him Theodore. Wait a minute. I'll talk later. He was the size of a 3-year-old child, her size at the time, and he had plush fur, shining eyes, and dapper red bow tie. He didn't do much, only waved a hand, tilted his head to the side, and said in her father's voice, I don't know how to do this, but I love you, Charlie. Okay, that was a really bad one. I'll work on it. But it wasn't enough to give her a night watcher, someone to keep her company when she could not sleep right now. Could not sleep right now. Theodore sat in a white wicker chair in the far corner of the room. Charlie waved at him, but now active, he did not wave back. After Theodore, the toys got more complex. Some worked, and some did not. Some seemed to have permanent glitches, while others simply did not appeal to Charlie's childish imagination. She knew her father took those back to his workshop and recycled them for parts, though she did not like to watch them dismantled. But the ones that were kept she loved, and they were her now. Here now, sorry. Looking at her expectantly, smiling, Charlie pushed a button beside her bed. It was a stiffy, but nothing happened. I pushed it again, holding it down longer, and this time across the room, and the wavery crack of metal on metal began to move. The the unicorn Charlie had named Stanley for some reason she could not no longer remember, who was made of metal and had been painted glossy white, and he tunneled around the room on a circle track, bobbling and his head stiffly up, and the track squealed as Stanley around the corner and came to a stop beside the bed. Charlie knelt beside the room beside him on the floor and patted his flank. His glossy paint and chipped and peeling, and his face had given over the rust. His eyes were lively, gazing out of decay. You need a new coat. You need a new coat of paint, Stanley, Charlie said. The unicorn stared ahead, unimpressed. At the foot of the bed, there was a wheel made of patched together metal. It had always reminded her of something the might find on a submarine. Charlie turned it. It stuck for a moment, then gave away, routing as it always did, and across the room the smallest closet door swung open. Out sailed Ella on her track, a child-sized doll bearing a teacup and saucer in her tiny hands. Like an offering, Ella's pale dress was still crisp, and patent leather shoes so shone. Perhaps the closet had protected her from the damage of the dam. Charlie had an identical outfit back when she and Ella were the same height. "Hi, Ellie," she said softly as the wheel unwound. Ellie retreated to the closet again, the door closing behind her. Charlie followed her. The closet had been built angrily with a slant of the ceiling, and there were three of them. Ilya lived in the short one which was about 3.5 feet tall. Next, it was one a foot or so taller, and a third closet to the bedroom door was the same height as the rest of the room. She smiled, remembering. "Why do you have three closets?" John had demanded the first time he came over. She looked at him blankly, confused by the question. I'm going to read a little bit more. "'Cause that's how many there are," she said finally. She pointed defensively to the littlest one. "That's Ellie, anyway," she added. John nodded, satisfied. Anyway, okay, we are going to stop there, guy. We're going to stop there, my friends. Oh, ooh, that hurts. Anyways. Hold on. Never mind. Anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed this new series, because I'm enjoying it myself, because I'm actually going to finish the book. Anyways, I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye-bye!